All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. I had a quick video I wanted to share with y'all about some different items that we've discussed in the past. But before we get started, I want to encourage anyone who has not subscribed to the Fearless Podcast. You can see the links down below. We're on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Go subscribe to the Fearless Podcast. We just had an awesome interview drop tonight, so I highly encourage you to check that out. And also, if you enjoy the podcast, please leave us a review. It does help. And what I wanted to touch on this evening, I have a video that I want to share from China Uncensored. We've talked a lot about China in the past. I think we talked about Charlie Munger kind of praising China, and Warren Buffett, and even Donald Trump. You know, he was very impressed with the way that they surveil their citizenry and all this stuff. But what I was pointing out, I think I also discussed it in a BRICS video, talking about this new alignment as far as world currencies and different things, is China is given much more credit than they actually deserve. And let's watch this quick video, and then we can discuss it.
China is literally falling apart, and the Communist Party knows it's to blame. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Made in China, not known for the best in quality. This is an example of tofu-dreg construction. The term was coined in 1998 by then Premier Zhu Rongji. He was being given a tour of flood dikes that were about as stable as tofu. Not even tofu, the dregs that are left behind from making tofu. Really bad when you're talking about construction. If you thought that video was crazy, I've got a bunch more to show you that will blow your mind. I'm talking bricks crumbling in your hands. Stay tuned for that. But first, I need to talk about why this is a thing. China's economy is fake. The illusion of massive GDP growth was a result of rapid, unrestrained construction projects. On paper, it looked like growth. The reality was quick and shoddy construction that is falling apart, often because money for construction materials was being embezzled. Also because working conditions in China suck. Construction crews have to work practically around the clock. Abuse is rampant. Local governments in China never want to investigate this because real estate and land sales are basically the only ways they can raise money. Local governments aren't allowed to post taxes. And so you get a communist utopia that used to be a 7-story building. I know you want to see more, and I got a lot of it. All you got to do is stay tuned after this quick commercial break. Welcome back. So it's really not a surprise that you have buildings and bridges and roads collapsing in China. The materials are crap. Here's a guy crumbling a pillar with his bare hands. Steel bars aren't much better. You should not be able to bend them in your hands or break them with a little hit. Even walls crumble at the slightest touch. And yeah, it's pretty common. Netizens all over China have put up videos where they discover that the very walls around them are crumbling. Here's a case of workers using liquor bottles instead of concrete. And the consequences of shoddy building materials can be disastrous. This parking garage completely collapsed. Here's a bridge that collapsed on drivers. This freeway overpass collapsed. The government didn't blame shoddy construction. They blamed a truck that was driving on it because, I kid you not, they said he lacked the common sense to drive down the middle of the road. The truck driver was staying in his lane, which meant there was too much weight on one side of the bridge, so of course it would collapse. Yeah, this building looks like a tree someone was chopping down. Entire sides of buildings simply fall off. Real estate is one of the very few places Chinese people can invest. Some put their entire life savings into buying a home. So when they discover that that brand new building is already crumbling with holes in the floor, that is a disaster. The Chinese Communist Party knows that tofu-dregs construction is a serious threat to their rule. In 2008, a massive earthquake hit Sichuan province. It was during the day when kids were in school. And while government buildings were left standing, The schoolhouses collapsed, killing many of the kids. That was devastating in a country where families were only allowed one child. But the Chinese Communist Party can't fix the problem because corruption is endemic to the Chinese communist system. That's why, well over a decade after the Sichuan earthquake, buildings continued to be made out of tofu. So maybe don't rely on Chinese labor to make American infrastructure. But while China builds low-quality junk on the cheap, at China Uncensored, we're dedicated to bringing you the highest.
I wanted to show you some illustrations of what is happening over there with their overbuilt, under constructed infrastructure with ghost towns, ghost cities. So much of it is a communist illusion. And so that's the point I want to make with the whole concept of the BRICS alliance and that new monetary system that's being constructed. While I am not doubting the military power of China, I do doubt everything else they do, their fiscal policies, the way that they manipulate their own currency. Certainly nothing they do is a solution. And for all y'all that don't know, my background is I was in financial planning for 11 years. And there was this really strange period of time, say, I don't know. We've been down here 10 years now. So let's say it was probably about 20 years ago. And there was this inordinate affinity towards China and how these state-run companies are great and they can't fail. And we need to invest in these different Chinese emerging market funds and the China funds and all these different things. And it was so bizarre how, air quotes, capitalists were being impressed by the Chinese chicanery, and nothing has changed on that front. Nothing has changed with China or with Russia for that matter. Neither of them are a beacon of any type of a solution. So I just wanted to illustrate, the Belt and Road. Just read Tragedy and Hope. You'll understand what's going on. Heinz Kissinger and Bazinia Brzezinski, they lined this all out way back in the day, and now it's coming to fruition. They actually wrote a book about it. Carol Quigley wrote a book about it, and it's all unfolding just like they planned, and Wef's helping them out and making it happen. But I'm going to try to pause. Hopefully, I have all my stuff set up here right. I'm going to pause briefly for a sponsor. All right, y'all. So if you want to get a hold of Chuck, you can check out the link below and get his free ebook. But all of this fascination with China is fascinating to me because they have been doing very much all the same things. Even though they've been loaning us all of our debt and buying up our debt, they're now reversing that. But in the same ways that we have artificially flooded our infrastructure with fake money and quantitative easing and all these different things, China has done the exact same thing to their currency and their economy. And they certainly aren't willing to risk their currency to these other emerging markets and dilute their own currency well after they've done all of this manipulation already. So I just don't see many people pointing that out. And I find it very kind of humorous and curious. And what makes us think that if, back in the early 2000s, China not only makes everything that we use, they make everything that they use. Yeah, but their quality of what they make for themselves is no better than the quality of the trash they send here. And they don't care, and they certainly don't care for human life. So it's all very interesting, and it is relative. But I just wanted to share that video that Chris put out, showing just how ephemeral their infrastructure is, how incredibly terrible the quality. And, you know, they do have to keep a certain face when they send products here. They want them to last. They want them to at least get here so you can open the box. But over there, it absolutely doesn't matter, because they're running the show from start to finish. So it is rather curious and interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below. Comment down below, and please go check out the Fearless podcast. Check out the most recent episode and leave us a review. And as always, this is a value for value proposition. So if you do appreciate the content that we put out, please go on over to TheTexasBoys.com and get yourself maybe some coffee, tea, candles, some unvaccinated honey. We love and appreciate all the support. Thanks y'all for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.